Hello, and welcome to the Cup TV, the Currently Unnamed Podcast, where we put the real and the tea in reality, and we can always come to us first to quench your thirst. I'm your girl Lana, your resident evil diva, and I'm here to give the tea, spill the tea, and drink the tea because you know I loves me some tea. Purr. And unfortunately, I don't even have any tea. I don't have anything to drink right now. I didn't grab anything, didn't get it. Not too thirsty. It's fine. I have the most important thing, and the most important thing to me anyway is my cup mug. And you can get your cup mug. Oh, Jax doesn't have his
I
cup
just
mug.
cleaned, and I just realized it's not at my desk.
It's okay. It's all right. You can get your cup mug, your new and improved cup mug at lanagcreations.etsy.com. That link will be in the description below. And we do ship internationally and domestically, so there are no excuses unless except if your postal service is on strike. Then there's some delays. But it'll get there eventually, so still get it. Get your cup mug or any of our beautiful cup merch. Period.
And my name is Jack. Not Skitty, not Kitty Scott Claus, as some people have apparently thought I looked like at this point. I don't get it. I was told I look like Kitty Scott Claus, and I feel like that's an insult, but not in the way they were anticipating.
It depends on how you feel about Kitty Scott Claus.
And seeing how I'm taking it as an insult, you can probably tell.
Yeah.
I am the resident game designer of the panel, and I am so excited to wrap up this season with the finale that least needed to be split into two parts because it was over literally last time.
Period.
So we just walk 20 minutes into this episode and go, yep, and there's our winner.
Yep.
We're done.
Period.
CBS.
But we are here talking about the finale of Survivor, and I would say overall good, really good season, and I enjoyed it. I was entertained the entire time. So overall, I appreciate the season for what it was, and the rightful winner was crowned in my eyes. So period. Um, but before we dive into it, y'all know what to do. Hit the subscribe button on this channel and all of our other channels. We have 4 channels total for you to support us with. Think your claws into us and join the ride. Um, we're wrapping up a lot of stuff this week. A lot is wrapping up this week. So we're gonna have some um open schedule free time, I guess, for a podcast. Well, not really, because we are doing our end of the year things. So a lot of our end of the year stuff is going to be coming out in the next week or two. So still subscribe to this channel, still get the notifications and do that, and subscribe to all of our other channels. All those links will be in the description below, as well as our audio podcast links where you can check us out on the go, and join our Patreon so you can get early access to all of our end of the year's things and other things as well. So join our Patreon and get early access and exclusive content. And yeah, do all those things. Follow us on all of our socials at the Cup Pod on all the socials: Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Blue Sky, all those things. So let's get into this finale because, as Jack eloquently has said, we kind of knew what was happening, what was going to go down, who was winning this season in like the first 30 minutes of this episode, I would say. Um, we don't get a lot of we get the recap of what happened the last tribal and sending Genevieve home, and they come back and they're all congratulating themselves like, yay, Final Four, woo. And the typical I'm proud of myself moment.
Oh, I'm proud of myself. Oh, we now have to consider fire. Oh my God, I don't want not Genevieve. I don't want Rachel to win this challenge. That would be terrible.
Terrible.
And Rachel on the side going, "Wow, I really need to win this challenge."
Or I
or
I
I have to fire with.
fire, which I can do in my sleep.
Uh, I mean, the issue with this whole thing is that we know 100% that Rachel, unless an act of God occurs, which
What,
are
like wind?
happen,
Like wind?
like wind, unless an act of God happens that blows away her supplies and also sends a fireball down to the other podium and just ignites the flame, ignites the rope immediately. No one is beating Rachel in fire. And also, someone losing to Rachel in fire just gives her like an 11th check mark on a giant resume of gameplay that winning final immunity would also fulfill. So there's basically no suspense of like, oh, who's gonna go out here? It's not gonna be Rachel.
No. Which one of y'all three is fighting for third place?
Exactly.
That's literally what it was. Um, and even after the conversations of we're so proud of ourselves and we're so thankful to be in the final four, blah blah blah, then we go right into the challenge. Like there's nothing else. We go right into the challenge. Now I was thinking like, okay, it's probably going to be some kind of endurance, something or another, where they got to hold on to something for the longest. And
No.
no, no, we
No.
we
Okay.
we we have obstacle, obstacle, obstacle,
Puzzle
puzzle.
obstacle. I mean, I guess if anything, this is testing almost every skill that you can really think of. It's crawl under net,
Uh huh.
use a monkey fist,
Uh huh.
use letters to interpret what a 6 letter lock could be,
Yep.
untie knots like 5 times, and then do a bat puzzle.
You forgot to cut the machete because you got
Oh,
to
and cut the
drop the
machete.
rope. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this was quite literally, oh, here are the 6 things we haven't done during the merge yet.
At
That's
the
our
same
final
time.
challenge.
Yeah. Let's go in the closet and see what we got left. We got a machete. Okay, we can use that. Cut some rope. Okay, okay. Let down. Oh, we got this ladder. We can roll that up. We can use that. We used the net with the mud before, but I think we could use that again. I think
Yeah, no,
we could
that's
pull.
easy. That's
Yeah,
easy.
we can
I
pull
mean,
that one
like,
back out.
one spot is wet over here. Like,
Right.
we can't just, like, not.
Not
Look,
use
we
it.
can't, like, dry that out really quick. So, like, just set up the nets.
Just
It's
set the net
fine.
up. Okay. We got this monkey fist that we haven't used. So let's use that. Let's throw that and put that on this gate. And then these letter blocks. What are we using? Did we do a challenge with the letter blocks yet? No, no,
No, no,
no.
we haven't had
Let's
any random word challenges.
let's do that. Let's do the word challenge and put it on a lock that yeah, a combination lock that we got to use it. Okay. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But
Deal.
just to be clear, the puzzle itself doesn't have to
Mm-hmm.
do anything with Survivor. Nothing.
No, it has to
Unrelated.
do with the place that we're in because we have seen a crap ton of bats this season. So,
Not no, I mean the letter lock. The
oh
letter lock. I
no,
want to say this is the first time that we've ever seen like a word puzzle that quite literally has nothing to do with Survivor. And in
it
fact,
just says unlock.
it's a bad meta joke, which is weird. Like,
What you have to do,
it's what you have to do.
unlock it.
Unlock, like, you politely, you are not a crossword puzzle. Do not do this type of clue.
Like, ugh, okay. But then we get the bat puzzle because why not? It's bats everywhere. So let's just have a bat puzzle. Yeah, do that because
Yeah.
we know who we want to win and we know who's good at these puzzles. So we have to end it with the way we want it to end. So let's put this because they could have ended it with the unlock, the machete, and crawling up and grabbing the flag, and that could have been it. But no, no, we have to
No.
end it with the puzzle, the kind of puzzle only one person in this Final Four likes.
It's just like, okay, they know who they want. They
They
know who
know who
they
they, and you
want.
know what? I'm not mad at it because that's who I
Oh,
want.
neither am I.
Because that's who I want. And you know what? All seriousness and all that happened. It was a close. It was close. Everybody made it to that puzzle, the bat puzzle at the end, and was putting it together. But then it just got to a point where people were watching and looking and trying to figure out what Rachel was doing.
Yeah,
So Rachel wins immunity to nobody's surprise.
I do
She
gotta say,
go ahead.
I think if Sam does
Mm-hmm.
not mess up the monkey fist
Mm,
so much that he goes from first place to dead last,
yeah.
I think he probably has a good shot of actually winning this challenge, and it's a lot closer.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, Sam at the end of this challenge, he does get unlock first,
Yeah.
which gives him maybe like 30 seconds and then an immediate one chop on the machete. So he has 30 seconds over Rachel
Yeah.
on a puzzle that Rachel excels at. Yeah, no, this was never going to change. And Rachel even gets the puzzle wrong.
Yep. Wrong. She has to switch it and turn it and put it back in. She got it wrong. And
Still
still
wins.
wins. She
No
still
one even
wins.
gets close to a check.
No.
Like,
It was wild. But Rachel wins and she has now tied 5 other women. She's the 5th woman to win 4 immunity challenges in one season. And she is now in the Survivor Hall of Fame for that record and for having that moment. And I love that for her. Congratulations to Rachel for winning that and being the 5th woman to do that. So I'm here for it. I'm here for it. And I was very happy for her. But they kept pointing out, although Rachel, don't get ahead of yourself because only 2 of those women have actually won the season with that record. Everybody doesn't win. This does not lock it up. Like Jeff was making sure to point out, this doesn't lock it up
even though it's
because
locked up for other reasons, but this specific thing doesn't lock it up. This specific thing, no.
this thing doesn't lock it up. But all the other 17, 18 items and things that put you checked off the list does lock it up. But we won't talk about that right now because we got an hour and a half of show to do. So
It's so asinine.
it's
uh,
it's so crazy. But Rachel wins immunity. She got her butt planted in the final 3 spot. And we get back to camp and they all go into the water to rinse off the mud. And Teeny and Sam are like, we don't have to talk about it now. This is them me talking as they wash their hair. We don't have to talk about it now, but once we finish washing up, I would love to talk to you. Rachel said, oh, I can tell you right now what's gonna happen. And I was like, Mother, mother,
why even wait? There's
what?
literally just 2 options.
Why wait? She was like, um, Sue has been loyal to me the last part of this game since we merged. So I'm taking Sue, Teeny, and Sam, y'all up for fire. Period. Bottom line, don't care. You're up.
Yeah, it's not even like a question. It. I think this is the least amount of time we've seen anyone debate fire. It's literally just, so you two are going and we're done. Go practice. Go
Go
practice.
practice.
But no, Teeny, actually come over here. I'm gonna just show you how to do this really
Everything.
quick. Sam go to the water well and start practicing. I don't care what you do.
Don't care what you do. Just stay where you are. I don't really care what you do. But it was, and then of course we had our Sam and Teeny face off in the water, where Sam was like, "Oh, you gonna trust me to make fire? You think I'm scared to make fire?" And Teeny was like, "You ain't gotta say it like that." And Sam was like, "Say it like what? Say it like I said it. You, I don't. I mean, I ain't worried about making fire." Although in his head he's like, oh my God, I gotta make fire. I don't know how to make fire, but I'm gonna make them believe I can make fire. But then act like, oh, I don't know how to make fire. Make it just twist it, give them all kind of mind games and whatnot. And Tina's like, I'm sick of this, Sam. I'm sick of you and these mind games, period. And so I'm about to go. I'm just gonna go. And Rachel was like, yeah, let's get out of here. Because Tina, I want to show you something. Come here, girl. Come here, girl. Come here, girl. Come on. And they go off, and Rachel tells Teeny everything she needs to know about making fire. Just go, do it. This is how you do it. Hold the knife this way, hold the flint this way. Just scrape, 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 flap, 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 bam. And before you know it, Teeny is making fire. And we like, oh, period. And she is teaching Rachel. I mean, Rachel is teaching her everything. And Teeny is picking it up just like that. And we're like,
Just like full Goliath story of not only is Teeny just picking it up and getting it, but they are getting giant flames.
yeah.
And it's lasting. Like, it is quite literally textbook what you want.
Yep.
Teeny's just doing it.
She's doing it. And it was beautiful to watch. And then we go on to see Sam just struggling. He's scraping, he's scraping. He ain't getting a spark. He ain't getting a flame. He just scraping. So he getting so frustrated. He's like, and Rachel's looking at him and like still is sitting there like, just take your time. Just go slow. You got it. Like, oh, Sue. Oh,
Jail.
Sue. Yeah. It's just nothing. He wasn't getting it. So he getting frustrated. Rachel's getting hopeful, like, okay, he's still struggling. This is good. This is good. Teeny's still practicing. And then we get the story, which let me go, yep, this is about to happen. Because we
Yeah.
get all of Sam and his whole rise out of the ashes like the Phoenix story, because he's like, I can't do it. This is so frustrating. Then I go and read a letter from my dad. And I'm like, he says something. And I'm like, I gotta do it. I got to do this. I could do this. I can make fire. I can do it. So he goes back with this second wind of hope and determination. And he goes and he starts doing it. He's scraping, and then he's sparking, and he makes fire. So now he's feeling more and more confident because his fire is going and it's roaring, and it's a good fire. It's a really good fire. So now he's like, I just have to dig. I just have to dig. I can't go into this with a defeatist attitude. I just have to dig. And I was like,
Okay.
Sam is winning fire.
Yep. Yep.
Got
Yeah.
it.
Okay.
Got it.
Great.
Ugh.
I mean, it. I mean, it's the only thing in the episode that is like purely, oh, here is exactly why this person is about to just completely demolish this challenge.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, at Fire, we do kind of see it subverted for a bit.
We get this thing because I'm me personally watching. I was like, oh, he's about to win fire, but then we get to the fire making challenge, and it happens, and we start it, and he's struggling, and I'm like, oh, okay. And so Teeny makes a fire pretty quickly. She makes her fire, and I'm like, okay. And she got it, and it's building, and it's building, and it's building. it gets to the point where it's licking the rope. Like the fire is tickling the ropes. It's getting it. It's getting. I'm like, maybe Teeny is gonna win this. And okay, work. Let's make it happen. And I'm sure everybody who was watching, I'm sure I'm not the only one. We were all like, okay, she's gonna win it, or they're gonna win it because this fire is touching every part of this rope. It's tickling every part of this rope. Sam has no fire. Then all of a sudden he has a fire. And we're like, okay. And then his
Okay.
fire gets bigger. And it started getting bigger. But Teeny's fire is still bigger. And we're like, all you just need to do is burn, rope. Just freaking burn. And Sam throws some more of that kindling stuff in that fire, and that flame goes poof. And then he has this huge flame. And then the act of God that you were talking about earlier happens to Teeny, and the wind starts to blow. And her flame, which was doing this, is now doing this. It's now doing this. Here's her rope. Here's her fire. It's just
At this point, it will burn the flag before it burns the rope. Like
it's the fire was doing this to the rope, and now it's here. And Sam's fire just goes straight to that rope, straight up to that rope, and in no time, poof, flag, it cuts through flag. Sam wins, and our eighth jury member is Teeny, which was the most heartbreaking because was Teeny's rope fire resistant? Like,
did
what
a
the
production
heck?
member turn on a fan? Like, what the actual fuck happened? There, I think this is one of the clearest examples of like someone literally doing everything right and then just getting screwed. Because the only way Sam won that is because a giant gust of wind came. It,
It just literally just I was like, are we freaking kidding right now? Because Teeny had that. Like the rope, it felt like the rope was like, I'm about to light. I'm lighting. Nah, I'm not. It's too wet to light. Like I feel like her rope was wet. I don't know what it was. It just because we saw the flames on the rope like going in and out, and it literally screwed Teeny. Just a gust of wind just screwed
just
her, screwed them. Like,
there there's nothing beyond it other than I mean I will go with this until probably the day I die. Teeny was robbed of specifically being at final tribal council and pitching their case.
mm-hmm.
She was never going to win.
She wasn't gonna
Just to
win,
be
no.
completely clear,
Right.
realistically, if Teeny gets to the end, maybe one vote from like Saul, but that's a very big
I don't
stretch.
even think so.
I don't think so either. I
I don't
think
even
we
think
get a
that.
unanimous
Yep.
winner,
Which
but
we should have had, but okay.
we should have had. But yeah, no. Sam squeaks by, and suddenly we have somewhat of an entertaining final tribal council again. Um, I do want to say, uh, I I could be very wrong here simply because I just don't have a good memory.
Mm-hmm.
But Teeny is the first person to bring up being basically not being fully cis on the
Mm-hmm.
show. I mean, there is a slight mention from Jackson Fox from oh god 44, 43. It's
Mm-hmm.
one
Mm-hmm.
of them
Mm-hmm.
before he gets pulled from
Put
the
off.
game.
Yeah.
But I mean, this is the first time we've really seen that be explored. And
Right.
unfortunately, Teeny has gotten a lot of hate this season. And I think it's probably because of how the last two episodes have betrayed them. It's not great. But I do want to thank her for being themselves on the show.
Mhm. Mhm.
Um, I the cast photos post game, they look amazing. I am so happy they are being themselves and they
Absolutely.
are presenting how they want to present.
Absolutely.
And if I don't think Teeny will be brought back for 50. I
Mhm.
feel like you could easily make a case of Teeny did all of the right things to reach Final Tribal Council, but got fucked over by a gust of wind. But
Mhm.
with the major asterisk of Teeny never had a shot at actually winning.
Right.
And I think if they were to play the game again, they'd probably learn more about that emotional intelligence to win. And
Right.
I see a lot of myself in that. So,
Right.
do I think it's likely? No. Would I love to see Teeny come back fully representing their non binary identity and playing the game? Yes.
Yeah. I would love to see Teeny come back and play again. I think a little older, like you said, a little wiser, a little more into knowing what this game is about. I think they will do amazing. But I don't think 50 is going to be that. I think Genevieve has locked that spot up for this season for this cast. And possibly Andy. I just feel like those two are the names from this season that probably gets that call to come back if they want to do it. And it would make total sense for them to do that. And I
Yeah.
think Sam has put his name in the conversation for his final tribal council um uh
Speech.
his
But
speech and his determination. I think he put himself up higher on the list than other people. But yeah, I think he would be a good choice as well. But I think Genevieve and Andy, if they do two people, pretty much has locked this season up.
oh yeah.
If they're not doing winners, because I don't think they're doing winners, and it would make no
I
sense.
have doubt they're doing winners. I mean, the only other person I can realistically, the only other two people I can see from this season are Kishan, because he was
Gone too soon. Yeah,
gone too soon and also consistently referenced out the entire season,
yeah.
and Rome because
No,
of
he's
the
not. No, he's not.
well, yeah, no, we'll talk about why he's definitely not
He's
later,
not.
but like the most out there villain of
Yeah.
the entire new era, I think, had he not fucked himself over completely by doing
Hmm.
something that we'll talk about
We'll talk.
now because it's fully proven to essentially be true, um, he probably had a good shot.
Yeah, absolutely. But we lose Teeny. Teeny is now the last member of our jury. Um, and so we do go back to camp and they have their feast, their breakfast feast of everything, They talk about all the people who've gone before, just the jury. They only talked about the jury. They didn't talk about the pre-jury people. They just talked about the jury, which I kind of annoying because I'm like, if you go talk about everybody, everybody should get some kind of love on the show. But the only problem is everybody. It was only no. There was nobody from Lavo there to talk about the Lavo people who were gone before.
Exactly.
So they couldn't talk about everybody because two people would not get any kind of conversation because they don't know them. They didn't know them and they didn't get to play with them. So I guess that makes sense. That makes sense. Um, but they do their feast. Um, little shots were thrown throughout breakfast about between Rachel and Sam. I kind of feel like in that moment, Sue kind of felt and knew that, baby, I'm not getting no votes.
Oh, oh, this is this whole. final tribal council sequence, it's like so obvious that Sue has no chance.
No chance.
And everyone
I
just
mean,
kind
it
of
started
goes,
in breakfast. I think in breakfast she knew she had no chance.
I don't think a single person was genuinely. I mean, probably Gabe and Caroline for a little bit were
Yes.
considering, like, maybe we can throw her a pity vote. But no one was actually considering probably voting her for the win. And I say that as someone who watched
Mm-hmm.
Sue react to that whole finale live
Mm-hmm.
and have a crowd of supporters around her and talk to her after the fact. And Sue is lovely and
Mm-hmm.
amazing. She played a very, very bad game. And I mean, unfortunately, this really was a final two with Sue being
Oh yeah.
there.
Yep. Yeah. It just was obvious. I think it was obvious to her, even at the conversation they had at breakfast between Sam and Rachel. They were just like, "You are my competition." Rachel pretty much basically was like, I brought Sue because of loyalty, but I know she's the GOAT for me, so it's not. And if something happened crazy and it was a tie vote, Sue would cast a winning vote and it would have been for Rachel. Like, no doubt
Oh,
about it.
yeah.
So it was what it was. Rachel had set that up perfectly for her. And it was what it was. But it was some, like I said, some shots fired between Sam and Rachel about who they think is going to do what it will take, what the jury's looking for. And when we had those conversations where they were showing those blurbs of what the jury would say and what they were thinking about and who they were thinking about voting and why, what they needed to hear, I was like, huh, if this vote is as close as they trying to make it out to be, I'm going to be pretty annoyed. Pretty annoyed. And so we literally they go after that, they go to final tribal council. And Jeff is like, jury, this is your time. The power has shifted to you. You get to ask these questions. We're going to have some opening statements and then y'all got it. So they do their thing and the questions are asked. And I want to know from you, Jack, because I thought the questions were decent questions from the jury. I don't know if they were like my favorite questions that I've heard asked from a jury, but what do you think about the questions that the jury have? And did they give the finalists enough time to actually answer those questions? Because I have thoughts about that.
I do feel like the questions were at least decent.
Hmm.
Uh, Asking about, oddly though, there was this tone this whole time of like, how did you mess up? How did you make mistakes in the game? Which
Hmm.
was a little strange to have a jury be like, so I don't care about the moves you actually made right. Tell me when you fucked up.
Hmm.
Which, I mean, I get for the both of them because Sam and Rachel have definitely played from both the top and the bottom of the game at
Hmm.
various points. But I do think they were both given a good amount of time, at least to answer both and give pretty clear answers. Sue had to
Hmm.
basically be prompted by other people to be like, oh, and I mean, Sue, you're here. Please also answer the question.
Right.
Like Sue was essentially walking into a job interview where the position had been filled 2 months ago and they just forgot that this interview was scheduled.
Yeah.
So it's just the formalities of Sue being there.
Hmm.
And that part was slightly annoying because you could
Right.
definitely tell that no one was voting Sue and no one was even considering Sue the entire time.
Hmm.
I will say the entire thing was basically Rachel saying something
Hmm.
and then Sam saying, well, that's actually not impressive. That's what it felt like
That's
a
what it felt
lot
like
of
to
the
me.
time.
Mhm.
And I mean, the major thing that I can remember is basically Sam was like, "You wanted me out so bad. It was because I was a threat." And Rachel going,
Yeah.
"I wanted you out because it's easier to go with other people. I wanted Genevieve out before you because Genevieve was a bigger threat. And I wanted you out over Sue and Teeny because you were a bigger threat than all of them. It's
Duh.
it's not like you masterminded your way here." And the only other thing I'll say is that bringing up Mike and Ben's games is so fucked in this context because yes, okay, but Rachel did get lucky with a lot of advantages at
Mm-hmm.
points. And did she play them all perfectly? No. But did she? I mean, yes, the idol. But I mean, the one thing I will say, if she doesn't get the ejector seat from Saul,
Mm-hmm.
she goes.
Mm-hmm.
But the important thing about that is that that advantage had to be given
Given.
to
Yep.
someone.
Yep.
And Rachel made herself such a clear person to give that to.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a compliment. That's not a disservice. And I mean, there's also the thing of like, oh, you went on an immunity run, and like that's how you got here.
So
So, if that's not allowed, why are there challenges in Survivor? Was she supposed to throw challenges?
just to test out how social her game was?
No,
No, she wasn't.
no. I mean, yeah, you can throw challenges if you're pretty confident that you don't need it. Sure. But winning challenges, if you win one challenge, like we saw this season, you win one or two challenges, congrats, you're now a challenge threat and you need to go home immediately.
Mm-hmm.
So when Rachel wins one or two challenges, surprise, she keeps winning more because she's good at it, and if she doesn't win it, she goes home.
Yep.
I don't see the argument as that being a bad thing, but
Yeah, Sam was pissing me off with that because I was like, don't try to act like her. First of all, she was just getting lucky finding idols and getting advantages and things like that. Like you said, the one that Saul gave her was given, and that was because number one, Saul liked her. Her social status with him was good enough where he felt she deserved it. Second of all, she was on a very unbalanced tribe at that time where it was five original tribe members and her. So when they're trying to break up a whole tribe of people so they don't get five people into the next round to start picking people off, somebody had to go and it didn't need to be her. So her social prowess got her there. So she outwitted some things and outlasted some things by getting that advantage, sent her out the way. And then she just so happened to be good at immunity at challenges. And she was winning. And she was winning. But in the midst of her winning, she was still collecting things, idols, and more advantages. Now, she didn't know she was going to get an advantage in her fries. She was just trying to buy burgers and fries from an auction. She was just trying to eat, but just so happened to have something in there to lead her to an idol. Hey man, that's the luck. That's the luck. And it is what it is. But everything else that she earned it. Like she got that block of vote by playing a challenge and winning the challenge. She earned that. She earned every immunity necklace that she had. She earned it. So to turn around and say you just got lucky, no, you Mr. No wins at all in any immunity, single immunity. You don't win immunity. You can win reward challenges, great, but you can't win single immunity. That's on you. You didn't go out looking for idols. You didn't find anything. But then you found one. You had one. And you just let it go because you didn't want to have it on you anymore. Too many people knew about it. So, and that was pre-merge. Not her fault. Not her fault. So it was interesting him trying to counteract and making it like what she did wasn't important and what her thing wasn't that impressive. Like I said, not impressive. It was very impressive. And it got her to this point. And if she didn't win these immunity challenges, she would have been gone a long time ago. Because, like he said, you were a threat to me, and that's why I wanted you gone. And then she flipped and turned around and was like, yeah, you were a threat, but you weren't the biggest threat to me. That's why I wanted Genevieve gone before you, because she was a bigger threat. Now, when it came down to the 5, yeah, you were the biggest threat between Teeny and Sue. That's why I wanted you gone. That's why I did what I did to help Teeny. That's why I was doing everything in my power to get you out of here. It didn't work. Oh, okay. Well, you made it. And is that dimming my shine? Absolutely not. My favorite part of Rachel's speech is when she was like, I could have put myself in fire. And I probably could have beat Sam in fire, which we all know she probably would have, unless the act of God and the wind came and blew her out the way, which I would have been pissed.
Oh,
Ooh,
I would have been inconsolable.
I would have been. Ooh.
I mean, thankfully, if that happens, she immediately gets brought back for 50 and wins.
Yeah.
So
But,
it doesn't matter. It's just like the kind of like Shea Coulee effect of like,
ooh,
I guess you can
I
just
would.
have 2 seasons where you dominate.
Oh, I would have been pissed. I would have been pissed. I would have been pissed. But then she was like, but why? What would that have proven? What does me putting myself in a situation where I could have possibly gone home when I won this necklace and I earned this necklace and I earned my spot in the finale? So therefore, I'm not going to give up my spot. I'm going to make other people do it, and I'm going to talk my talk, and and spit my game at this final tribal council. And when she sat there and was like, I sometimes dim my shine because I don't think I'm all that. Like, I look at my husband and say he's such a talented artist and he doesn't see it in himself. And I'm like, you're the most amazing artist I've ever seen in my life, but he doesn't see it. And she was like, and I feel like that is what I do. And like, I don't look at what I'm doing as really amazing enough. But guess what? I played a really good game. I played a damn good game. And I played a better game than all y'all. And I deserved it. I was like, period, Rachel. Talk your talk. Let them know I played the best game out here. I played better than you. I played better than you. And I played better than all y'all sitting in that jury. And that is why I'm here. Give me your vote because y'all know I deserve it. And I was just like, mother. She ate her closing arguments. Did Sam give good arguments? Sure.
Yes.
Sure. He pissed me off a little bit with his coming back at Rachel to talk about her game wasn't impressive. But I understand what he was doing and I get it and I respect it. He argued a really good case, but Rachel just argued a better case. She just argued a better case.
I will also say, I mean, going back to the Mike and Ben thing,
Mm-hmm.
you know what the most prevalent thing about Mike's win is? Sorry, not Mike's, Ben's win is?
Mm-hmm.
The fact that a random twist showed up that blocked him from being voted out at Final Four and meant that he could do fire, and
Mm-hmm.
they couldn't touch him.
Mm.
Wait a second. Sorry, I was describing Sam, not
Ooh,
Ben.
ooh, ooh. Well, Julie.
Because then, if Rachel is safe,
Mm-hmm.
the three of them vote Ben. The three of them vote Sam. Like, there's no
Absolutely.
question. There is no tie.
Nope.
Teeny doesn't flip because it doesn't make any sense. And
Yeah.
Sue stays with Rachel, who votes for Sam.
Duh.
So, like,
Like, right.
this end game scenario
Fireman.
where votes stop benefits Sam.
Right.
It benefits both Sam and Rachel, but Sam is the one who did it. And I mean, I respect the shit out of Rachel for also saying, like, yeah, I could throw myself in. I don't need to. Why
Don't
the
need
fuck would
to.
I do that?
It's crazy. Don't need it.
Right.
Won't do it. But we do go to the vote. The vote happens. And baby, it's 7 to
Yeah.
1.
It's
Rachel
not a question.
is not a question. Rachel wins. We are robbed of a unanimous vote due to Kyle, who was just like, he's my bro. He's my bro. And he's my bro. And I love that dude. He's my bro. Just say you were jealous that Rachel not only had the same amount of wins as you, but she actually won the whole thing.
You
And
know,
you knew she was gonna win.
you think, you really do think that a white man who's a great challenge threat won't do some boneheaded shit at a final tribal. And then they do. And then they
Then
do.
I it's then they do. And they do it with such like and then get to the end and like such confidence and it's so it just
We should all aspire to have the confidence of a straight white man. We should all.
we should I and yes I know that's wild coming from me because of all the praise that I sent Kyle's way this entire season. And I stand by that. I think Kyle was a good player in this game. I just think he just showed why I never trust a straight white man in any game. In any game at all. Just never do. If you're not if you're not a they or the gay white man, I don't trust you. I just can't because you always show yourself to be exactly what you've proven to be. It's just annoying. Kyle, you do. What did you hear in that final tribal council that didn't make you go, it is Rachel. As much as I love my bro Sam, it's Rachel. Because everybody else had that thought. Everybody else was like, that was good point.
A man putting down a woman.
Well, I mean that. And this man is jealous that this woman is actually better than he is in challenges. Even though she didn't beat you, she just happened to win a lot when you were gone.
And she took you out because you were that good.
Yep.
And she pushed to take you out because you were that good. And she knew she could beat you.
Ooh.
Whoops. Whoops.
Well,
and I mean, it's another thing to add to Rachel's cap of she had a full immunity challenge threat ahead of her that she didn't even need to like. Yeah, no, she could do good at challenges, and then the minute he's gone, it's like, okay, now it's my turn. I get the wins.
Right, and it's just, it's so good. It's so good. But Rachel wins 7 to 1. Kyle gives Sam his only vote. Sue gets no votes, and it's great. I'm elated. I'm excited. I'm happy. I'm very happy for Rachel to have won this. Uh, I'm happy for her that she was able to explain her game in the best way possible, and it was taken from the jury and dissected, and they appreciate it. That was her game was appreciated, and I love that for her. She is the third woman in a row to win Survivor. We like this trend. I love it. Let's keep it up, ladies. Dot, dot, dot. Let's keep it up. We have 5 women win in this modern era. You see what happens when you diversify things? You see what happens when you actually do rates?
There, a little change, just a little, like giving support, that kind of stuff. And I will say this season still has some
Yeah.
shortcomings.
Mm-hmm. Please talk
Uh,
on it.
but I mean, we got somewhere.
Yep.
Got somewhere.
But Rachel wins. But it's some after things, after show things, or during show things that we want to hit on before we get out of here. And congratulations to Logan for winning the draft with Rachel. So shout out to Logan. But Jack, I'm going to give the floor to you because I know it's some things that you need to discuss about some things. So I'm going to let you have it.
So it's not even worth mentioning a name here because all that does is give credit to this thing that very much fucks over the avid Survivor fan and the one who wants to listen to podcasts and get insight on what players were thinking. One player in their exit interview stealthily dropped the entire boot order for the rest of the season after they were eliminated. And of course, there was no way to like directly know this, but after a couple episodes, the people who had read it went, "Oh, wait a second. This is the order of people that's being mentioned here is just the boot order for the season, with a little bit of shuffling at one point to technically not make it." And, could it have been a really bad production error with the interview where they were given the names in order of the players remaining in the game and the exact order? Sure. You know what? It's technically possible for that amount of people to be put in a list of that order and have it be right. But it's annoying to know that now that kind of action can absolutely, one, make people wary to seek out those resources and be like, hey, you know what? I'd love to find out more about why these players left. Because if a player goes out and they don't like the rest, if they don't like CBS or they don't like how the season went or they're just bitter, they can leak the rest of the boot orders stealthily, and that's it. And if we're not able to catch it for 2-3 episodes, you've already read it. You might not remember certain things, but you'll remember like maybe the last 2 or 3 people mentioned, and suddenly you know the final 3 of the game. And it's disappointing that it happened, but for someone who apparently had such a love of the game, you burned any goodwill you had left in the community, because we all caught on and we're not happy. That's honestly the best way I can put it, is we're not happy, and you have potentially screwed us over from looking at resources in the future, because any sort of mentions of names may now be shuffled or done in a weird way where it couldn't possibly be this, or people who are doing those interviews will get like, oh, you can't talk about it like this anymore, and they could be forced to like analyze and be like, well, that's probably the reason. So at the end of it, fuck around, find out, lose fan support. I hope your industry does well for you because you pissed us all off.
Well, all right. There's that. But that's it. That's how we go leave it. That's how we go leave it. We go leave it at that. Congratulations to Rachel again because you deserved, you earned, you're mothered, you ate this, and you are the sole survivor of 47. We did get a sneak peek. I'm sorry, before we did get a sneak peek of 48. What did you think about the trailer? I thought it was interesting, but I didn't know it didn't really give much.
Yeah, there wasn't too much to it, honestly. I mean, we did essentially find out, I think, the two people that we didn't know off of the rumored cast list,
Mm-hmm.
they were finally revealed to us. And from what I've already seen of this cast, I do really like it. It's
Mm-hmm.
a very interesting group. And of course, because of the Genevieve of it all this season, every single woman in the game already has an update page directed for her, just in case someone can attempt to replicate that. Just in case, because the Twitter likes are absolutely worth you having to post about this one woman no matter what the rest of the time for the next 6 months and just praying that she doesn't eat shit.
Well, I don't know. Like nothing stood out to me that I was like, "Oh, I can't wait." I will just wait until the season's about to start. We get the official cast drop, and we do it from there because the trailer just did what the trailer does. It says, "Oh, 48's coming. Cool." Um, but that's that. We'll be back for 48. Actually, when that happens, we'll be right here talking about it. And so we hope you follow us along for the ride. We thank you for spending season 47 of Survivor with us. We had a great time watching it. Jack, always a pleasure podcasting with you about Survivor. And hopefully we'll be back soon enough to talk Amazing Race and Survivor very, very soon. But it's been a pleasure. And we'll be back next time for 48 and other things. But don't think we are done here on this channel. We have other things we're doing. We have another finale coming up tomorrow with House of Villains. So stick around for that. We will be back for Traders. Probably the challenge because our people are on the challenge now. It's a lot of folks that we like. So we probably are going to be covering the challenge all stars, which is fine, which is great. We have more shows. It's going to be more shows. Deal or No Deal Island up season 2 is coming very soon, so we will be back talking all those things. And then we have other channels. You can follow us on our drag channel, Drag Race, Drag other show channels on the Cup Pod, our Eurovision Song Contest channel on the Cup ESC, and our Ringside Wrestling channel on Cup Ringside. So follow all those links. All those things will be in the description below, as well as our audio podcast link, so you can follow us on the go, and our Patreon to get early access and exclusive content, and all of our socials. Follow us on all socials at the Cup Pod on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Blue Sky. You can follow Jack and me on Blue Sky and Twitter. All that's down there. And you can get your merch at LanaG'sCreations.etsy.com. That link will be in the description below. And we're gonna get out of here. So cheers, y'all.
Cheers.
Cheers.